Yeah, Thursday morning, normally, around this time. Check in, don't we, with Stratford upon Avon movie critic James Luxford for their good, bad and on-demand movies to watch across Coventry and Warwickshire. Morning, James.
Good morning.
Back from a little yacht trip, I'm told, in Croatia.
Yes, I've had an unusual week. Occasionally, I'm a travel writer, and from Sunday till last night, I was on a yacht in Croatia.
That's a bit swanky.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. It's something I thought I'd never do, and we've been joking it's the best out of office email ever. So sorry, I can't reply to that at the moment. I'm on my yacht.
It's a bit cool, isn't it, to be able to write that? It's a bit cool. Excellent. Well, look, good to have you with us this morning. Let's start with your good selection for this weekend in the cinema.
My good selection is Dune in cinemas Friday, and previewing now a sci-fi epic based on the futuristic novel about the struggle for power in a far-off planet.
You inherit too much power. You have proven you can rule yourself. Now you must learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned.
My father rules an entire planet.
He's losing it.
He's getting a richer one.
He'll lose that one too.
Seeing the trailers, certainly looks very epic.
It really is. It's one of those films that's really hard to sum up in a sentence, but it's more than worth seeing for my money because I think it's brilliant. It's taken years. It was, of course, made in the 80s by David Lynch, but it's just come together with a packed cast led by Timothée Chalamet, who you just heard there. He's fast becoming one of the biggest stars around, and actors like Oscar Isaac and Zendaya from the Spider-Man films. It's just really a rare combination of big Hollywood effects and a very thoughtful story. It's from the director of the recent Blade Runner sequel, which I loved, and I think this has everything: action, spectacle, this kind of Shakespearean power struggle. I loved it.
Good stuff. Dune, out in cinemas on Friday. Preview screens, as you say, across Coventry and Warwickshire for you right now. So that's the good. What's the bad?
My bad is Dear Evan Hansen in cinemas from Friday also. There's a movie version of the musical about an introverted high school student who accidentally becomes the focus of his community after the death of a classmate.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there?
No one signed your cast. Now we can both pretend we're friends.
I'm sorry about my brother.
Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere?
I wish everything was different. Wish I was part of something. I wish that anything I said mattered.
Have you ever
Seen this advertised on the sides of buses, and bill posters and stuff. And I'll be honest, just from that, I don't really know what the movie's all about.
Yeah, and I think if you saw the movie, it's going to be a little bit fragmented as well. I think it's about, a student who this case of mistaken identity of this quite reclusive student becomes associated with a tragedy and becomes a symbol of hope for the rest of the school, but it's all kind of based on a lie. And the stage musical is quite inspiring. It's quite thoughtful. It talks about how things can be gripped by social media and completely blown out of proportion. The film version, though, I think gets a lot of it wrong. I thought it was, frankly, a bit horrendous. It takes that story, but which is quite pertinent to our time, and takes out vital elements. It also helps that it also doesn't help. Sorry, that Ben Platt, who was the original stage Evan Hansen, plays him here. But he's now sort of in his late 20s, and he's by no means ancient, but he doesn't look 16, 17. And so it sort of stands out a little bit, and it's a bit distracting. And I think also his performance is quite stagey. What works for people, sitting however many meters away trying to look at stage doesn't work close up on a camera. And it's just one of those films that I just don't think comes together in any real capacity, because it's got a great, which is unfortunate because it's got a great cast. Amy Adams, Julianne Moore play the parents in the film, but they're not really used appropriately. It's not the worst film I've ever seen, but I think it should have been a hell of a lot better.
Okay, let's go to your on-demand choice. And given, topical events, Saudi Arabian takeover of Newcastle United Football Club, this is a documentary choice of yours.
Yes, it's The Dissident on video on demand from Monday, an award-winning documentary about the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and its links to the criticism of the Saudi Arabian royal family.
Jamal warned me. This kind of work might get you killed. Once you start working with us, you're not just a journalist. You're a dissident.
Jamal Khashoggi, prominent Saudi journalist and Washington Post columnist, has gone missing after visiting his country's consulate in Istanbul.
Never returned after going through the doors of his consulate there in Istanbul. Western security services strongly believe that he was killed on the orders of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, something that, of course, he and the Saudi government and royal family both deny. How good is this as a piece of film?
Yes, it's fascinating stuff. I think it's horrifying to see what happens, as we say, allegedly, when power is left unchecked. And I think particularly the testimony from Khashoggi's partner is quite powerful, but it's also a look at the importance, I think, of impartial journalism, the freedom to criticize our leaders, what happens when that freedom isn't available, the bravery of people who are willing to speak up in those environments, because, as we say, we have to be
intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to be very careful in terms of sort of reviewing it, because these are all alleged, but what isn't alleged is the abuse these whistleblowers, if you like, receive on social media, and the intimidation that they receive from their own countrymen in certain cases, and that alone is quite inspiring before you take in what the narrative that the film puts forward.
Good stuff, James. Always good to catch up. And I don't know, next time you get a boat trip or a yacht, I don't know if you feel ever like extending the invitation. I'm sure we'll drop everything to be there for you. Enjoy. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
James Luxford, movie critic from Stratford-upon-Avon, and they are with us every Thursday morning for their take on the good, the bad, and the on-demand in cinema across Coventry and Warwickshire this week. It's 10 to 9.